There were two questions and one statement that would forever change Jesus' life and ministry on this earth. Two questions and one statement that you heard in the gospel. Except the two questions you had to understand because they weren't verbal. The two questions were in the minds of those servants, but they were there. Those questions had to be there. And so, two questions, one statement, forever changing the earthly ministry of Jesus. The two questions had to be, who is this man? The servants had seen that water turned into wine. They had to think that. That didn't happen every day. And so, 20 to 30 gallons of really, really good wine where there had been water, they had to have been asking in their minds, though we didn't hear it verbalized, who is this man? And then the second thing they had to be asking was, if he had to do it, why did he use something sacred to the Jews for such a wild celebration? He used those jars that were used for the Jewish act of purification. He could have done it some other way. There had to have been vessels originally intended for the wine that had dropped to zero or were almost gone. And he could have put water in there and turned that into wine. And wouldn't that have been a better way than to have used something that was sacred to the Jews? Those vessels. He's using it now for wine so that people can have revelry. Wow. Who is this man? Jesus had to learn some lessons. Now keep in your minds the understanding that Jesus is not a ghost. Jesus is not God walking around unable to do anything wrong. Jesus is a man totally as much as he is totally God. So he needs to understand some things. He needs to understand his ministry. He does understand that he is the Son of God. Think for a moment. If you were here on this earth and you understood yourself to be the son or daughter of God, and you were here to carry out God's will, you might just be a little bit snooty. You know? Jesus could not do that. Jesus' mother knew that Jesus could not do that. And so you heard what she said to Jesus. I like the version that is in the Message Bible. I hope you all, if you don't already have one, will get a Message Bible, because it puts it into such easy to understand English. Here's the Message Bible that you just heard a moment ago in the NRSV. Mother, what is that to me or to you? It's not my time. Don't push me. That's a quote from the Message Bible. You see how that makes it more understandable. But she did push him. She knew she had to push him. And so after letting him know that he had to perform a miracle, and he's saying, Mother, there's just no way, I'm not going to do that, she smiles. And she turns to the servants and she says, do whatever he tells you. Because she knew that you don't mess with Mama. And Jesus didn't. Jesus understood. Jesus understood that he must get out of his comfort zone. We misunderstand what a comfort zone is. We tend to think a comfort zone is where we are comfortable. It is not. The comfort zone is called the comfort zone because if we get out of it, we're uncomfortable. Sometimes we're uncomfortable staying in it. The comfort zone is just what we've always known. The comfort zone means that we are overcome by fear and we're not willing to make one step out. We say, the comfort zone is my beautiful garden. Yes, it may be, but nothing grows there. The comfort zone is something we must go beyond. Because sometimes we don't even realize that we have needs beyond the zone we're in. Bob Burns. Some of you may remember Bob Burns, called the Arkansas Traveler. He told this story on himself, and I think it was true, that after 18 years, he joined the Army. After 18 years of his mother's deep, fat, fried cooking, he joined the Army and their bland GI food. And it cured something he didn't even know he had. That was lifelong indigestion. And instead of being happy about it, when it happened, he panicked. And he ran to the dispensary and he said, "Doctor, doctor, I'm dying. My fire's gone out." And so it is when we make that step out of that area in which we're comfortable. It is so hard to do, and sometimes it scares us. So it was with Jesus. His mother told him, "No, you got to move out, because the second thing you need to do is you need to lighten up. Move out of your comfort zone and then lighten up." The real truth of this world is nobody likes a sourpuss. So why do we sometimes approach life like that? Get out of your comfort zone and lighten up. And I believe the real evidence of Jesus beginning to lighten up is when he realized he was going to perform that miracle, and instead of just saying, which he could, "Okay, all of the vessels that had wine will now be filled." He could have done that. Or he could have said to the servants, "Fill up all of the vessels that are now empty that once contained wine." He didn't do that. He went to sacred vessels, and he said, in essence, by lightening up, people are more important than regulations and laws. Oh, no, that can't be, can it? Yeah. It's the people that are important. And that's why he had so much trouble with the religious authorities at the times. They had all kinds of rules and laws, and sometimes they were for others instead of themselves. But it's people. Jesus was learning that it's people that's important. It's not what you put in your body, he would later say. It's what's on the outside. That's what really counts. Sometimes we get all bogged down. It seems like we just, there's so many troubles, it just seems like we can't break loose to be able to lighten up. And you might say, you don't know the troubles that I have. Of course, if I didn't have all of those troubles, I could lighten up. But it's time, to make the best of the bad situation. Whenever I think of what's going on in Plant City every year about this time, I think of a little town in California, not as big as Plant City, but they also had a strawberry festival. And this was years and years ago. They would have this banner over Main Street that said, "Strawberries, all you can eat, 50 cents. Remember, it was a long time ago. But that brought people to the festival, you see. Except one year, bad crop, bad weather, bad crop, few strawberries. Strawberries were at a premium. They could not do that. What should they do? Of course. Most of the people said, we have to cancel the festival. There's no way. You can't have a strawberry festival and no strawberries. Or they could lighten up. And they did. They left that banner across Main Street. Strawberries, all you can eat, 50 cents. And they wrote under it, prunes will be substituted for strawberries. Lighten up. Make the best of a bad situation. I think one of my favorite interviews was a lady who was celebrating her 100th birthday. And she was alert, and she was fairly mobile, and she was such a cut-up. And among the questions, do you have any children? And she said, no, not yet. Lighten up. Jesus realized in his ministry that he had to lighten up to be able to reach the people. He had to move out of his comfort zone, and he had to lighten up. Those were the two questions that were in the minds of those servants. Now the one statement: you save the best wine to last. Jesus would use that in one way or the other throughout his ministry. The first shall be first, the last shall be last. You want to go to the head of the class, you get to the back of the line. You want to be the leader, be the servant. The first shall be last, the last shall be first. You serve the best wine? We don't do that. We take the inferior wine. When people are drunk, they don't know that much about how good it is. This is the best wine. Have you ever thought, when you look back over your life, as we all do, that if we just had one more chance to live it over, we might do it right this time? If we had one chance to live it over, we wouldn't make all the mistakes that we've made. If we had one chance to live it over, we might be able to do something great. And Jesus says to us, you might still can. If you'd get out of your comfort zone, lighten up, turn it over to me, believe in me, trust in me, because you never know. God may just have saved the best till the last. Just a possibility. Our granddaughter, who's 10 years old, St. Stephen's School there in Bradenton, takes Chinese as one of the courses that she takes. I've always been amazed at the symbols that are used, and especially the one for change. Half of it is a symbol for danger. We don't like danger. Danger is threatening. Danger is jeopardy to our status quo. Danger is fear. Half of that symbol is danger. But the other half of the symbol is opportunity. Opportunity. Riding on the shoulders of danger. No way about it. No way about it. It's life. We're going to encounter life like that. We can make the best of it. Can make the best of it getting out of our comfort zone and lightening up and letting God make make the last the best. You see, our alternative is, if we don't, we can change wine into water